All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the set command to come up with scores for an individual scale or subscale on a self-report questionnaire. So here I am on the Psytoolkit landing page. First thing I'm going to do is going to create a survey. I'm going to go ahead and call it example. Create my new survey. Okay. Delete this example text that Psytoolkit always throws there. And then in this video, the first thing I'm going to have to do is create a Likert scale. And then I'm going to have to actually create the rating scale question. Then I'm going to have to use the set command. Okay, now here's how we progress through doing this. So again, the first thing we're gonna have to do is create that scale. So scale, and then we need something along the lines of, say, 5 point. And so we would have our options be disagree, somewhat, disagree, disagree, somewhat, agree, and agree. Okay. All right, so those become our things. Now we need to create a rating scale question. Okay. Now in this case, what we're actually going to go with is, let's pretend we were a company that creates pens and we want a scale for pen satisfaction. Say we're giving a bunch of these pens out for people to test. So L for label, pen sat for pen satisfaction, the type, the scale, where we're going to be using the 5 point rating scale. The question that we're going to be asked is, please rate how much you agree with each of the following statements. Now we're going to have a series of statements, some of which correspond to how much we like how the pen feels in our hands, and some corresponding to how much we like the mark the pen makes. So first, I like the shape of the pen. Second, I like the weight of the pen. I like the width of the pen. And then I like the texture and feel. And now let's actually use a reverse coded item here. This pen feels bad in my hand. Because if you like the shape, you like the weight, you like the width, you like the texture, odds are you probably like the shape or the feel of the pen in your hand. So if you agree with the prior 4 statements, you should disagree with this one. Okay. Now let's go on and move towards those mark questions. Okay, so I like the width of the mark the pen makes. I like the ink color of the pen. I like the consistency of the pen mark. Okay, so now we got 3 statements about the actual mark the pen makes. So we've created our rating scale. Now we need Psytoolkit to actually take care of it for us. Okay, so how we'll do this is we'll have to create a new question that is a set question. Okay, and calling it question is somewhat of a misnomer. It's really just following the same question syntax and using a command that the participant's never going to see. Okay, so in this case, our L for label is pen sat overall. Okay, the type of question is a set question. And here we want the mean of what the participant said to all of these questions. Okay, so $ pen sat. Now, you should hopefully be asking the question, mean of what? They're rating how much they agree to a statement, which is sort of almost ordinal in a sense. Disagree, somewhat disagree. There's no numbers that go with that. Well, there are. It's just you don't know them off the top unless you know how Psytoolkit works. Psytoolkit automatically assigns a value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the participant answer. So the participant said, I like the shape of this pen, strongly agree, they would then get a value of 5 coded for their answer. Okay. Now this gets a little tricky because we have one reverse coded item. And a value of 5 here is the opposite of a value of 5 here. And so what we do is we actually include another little bit of code right here whenever we have reverse coded items called reverse and space that out. And what that's going to do is it's going to reverse the numbering Psytoolkit uses. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moving up as opposed to down. That way, if someone really likes how the pen feels, agree for shape, agree for weight, agree for texture, and then disagree for feels bad, they would all get assigned a value of 5, such that the average would be 5 as well. Okay? Now, this is how we would do it, jumping down to the set command, if we wanted the average of all the items. However, we have 2 subscales here. We have how does the pen feel in your hand, and what do you think about the mark? Okay? So, really what we want is another label, feel sat, okay? The type is going to be another set, and we're still going to use mean again, only now it's $pen sat, and we're going to put a period and then a number for the specific item we want. And then we have to list out the numbers. So pensat.1 is I like the shape of the pen. I like the weight of the pen is .2, .3, .4, .5. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to copy, space, paste, 2, space, paste, 3, space, paste, 4, space, paste, 5. Or pen satisfaction items 1 through 5. And it's going to give me the average of just those. Okay? And so we can also then create a set for the second subscale. Mark sat for satisfaction with the mark. The type is a set. Okay? And we want the mean of $pen sat 6, 7, and 8 to get us the mean of these 3 items. Okay? Now, mean is just one way to do this. You can set up a custom calculation. You can also just have it give you the sum. The sum is particularly useful if you had a scale where they answered yes or no. And so you could add up all the yeses and all the nos. In fact, that's important enough. Let's just go ahead and go over how you would do that. Okay? Such that if we had another scale, okay, yes, no, where we have possible answers of no and yes. I forgot my spaces there. Then we could come up with another pen sat 2 with Roman numerals, type, scale, and then yes, no, and then question, answer yes or no to each of the following questions. Do you like this pen? Do you love this pen? Would you recommend this pen to a friend? And then let's go with, would you buy this pen? Okay. Now, Psytoolkit is automatically going to assign a value of 1 and 2. And we could add that up, but it'd be even better if we had no being 0, because that's really what it's getting at. So what we can do here is put the bracket, score equals 0, bracket, space, And then here, the same thing, only now score equals 1 bracket space. This way you are setting custom score values such that we can come down here and go with line or label sum pen sat 2 type is set, and then we want sum of $ pen sat 2. Okay, and so that'll give us the sum of these, with 1 being assigned to any time they say yes, and 0 being assigned to any time they say no. A few things to note: there are no spaces in here. You have to have no spaces. And I went from least to greatest. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now let's go ahead and compile our survey. Now once we've got it compiled, were there any errors? Survey was successfully compiled. Let's put this survey online for when we're still designing it. And let's change our survey status. All right, so there's a link right here to test it, but I'm going to go ahead and copy this because we're going to test it twice. This first time we test it, we are going to just love the pen. Just love it. I love the shape of the pen. I love the weight. I love the width. I love the texture and the feel. And no, I like how it feels in my hands. The width, I'm only going to go somewhat agree, mix it up a little bit. I like the color of the ink. Actually, I'm indifferent to the color of the ink. Okay. Apparently, I got an error in my scale that I missed. This should be neither agree nor disagree, but we can fix that later. And I like the consistency of the pen's mark. Let's say I strongly agree with that. Click button to continue. And then, yes, I like this pen. Yes, I love this pen. Yes, I'd recommend this pen to a friend. No, I would not buy this pen because I'm cheap and I already have a bunch of pens. Okay. Done with this survey. Click to exit. And we'll go ahead and we'll drop that link back there and again, and we'll do the survey again. This time we'll absolutely hate the pen, disagree with all these. The pen feels bad in my hand. I agree with that as well. It's too small. I mean, you call that black ink. No, it's cutting in and out. Click button to continue. Never, like, love, recommend, never buy. Okay, done with the survey. Click to leave the website. Okay, so what we can then do is come all the way down to the bottom. Okay, and we get to this part where there's prepare and download data files. It says there's currently no data files, but that's because we need to refresh this. Okay. So 2 different participants, prepare data files. And it's going to give us this flashing right here. You'll have to refresh the page to see if it's prepared or not. Not yet. Refresh it again. There we go. Download the data in a zip file. Okay. So we can get ready to download it. Okay. Save it as data.zip. Click save. Replace it. Yes. Okay. You can see I've done this a few times. All right. So let's go ahead and open that zip file. All right, so this is what that zip file will give you. You'll see data.csv, data.xlsx, data times, CSV, and XLSX. Those are the same data files. It's just whether it's a CSV or Excel format. Now let's go ahead and let's open this in an Excel format real quick. And Excel's moving reasonably quick today. All right, so here is our data file. So this is what your data would look like. We have a row for each time someone takes the survey, or each participant. They're given a unique alphanumeric sequence. You can also use that to look up the actual specific data file. So if you come back here and you go to survey data, you'll note that hey, look, this corresponds exactly to that. So you can use that to identify whose data is whose. Okay? Now, we can see what people did for all of the PennSAT questions. Okay? This person said 5 to everything and then 4, 3, 5. And this person said 1 to everything. Okay? So we can see that. PennSAT overall goes ahead and computes our average. So if you're not interested in these, you can go right to this. The field satisfaction subscale, 5 and 1. The mark satisfaction subscale, 4 and 1. Okay? So remember, this is the last 3 items here, which you can see do indeed have an average of 4 down here in the bottom right. So then we have our PennSAT 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see some PennSAT adds up to 3 and 0, just like it should. Okay, so you can use this just that you don't have to come in here in Excel when you're cleaning your data, and after you get it, all those averages are already computed for you. And that can save you a lot of time and headache. All right, good luck. Have at it.